Welcome back to Karma Chronicles, where every story has a reckoning. If you believe that what goes around comes around, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button now, because today's tale of a New Year's party-turned-public takedown is one for the ages. The music is pounding. The whole house glitters with sequins and smells like cheap champagne. I'd spent all day setting these party lights up. Our place was packed, friends, family, coworkers, you name it. Everyone was here to ring in the new year. And there I was, standing on a little makeshift stage by the DJ booth, mic in hand, feeling this weird, icy calm. The clock on the giant screen behind me read 11:58 p.m. 2 minutes to go. I tapped the mic. A squeal of feedback cut through the party noise, and just like that, all eyes were on me. The music faded. My wife, Sarah, was right near the front, beaming, raising her glass to me. She looked beautiful. The perfect picture of a happy wife about to ring in another great year. She thought this was all for her, and in a way it was. "Hey, everyone," I started. My voice was rock steady, giving away none of the earthquake churning inside me. "Thank you all for coming to celebrate with us. It really means the world to have you all here." The crowd cheered. Sarah's smile got even wider. She blew me a kiss. I didn't return it. "As we count down to midnight," I went on, my eyes locked on hers, "it's a time to reflect on the past year. The highs, the lows, all the memories we made. And my wife, she's had a very memorable year." That tiny bit of emphasis on very made her smile flicker, just for a second. A flash of confusion in her eyes. It was the first little crack in the perfect mask she wore. The crowd, totally oblivious, cheered again, thinking it was some loving tribute. But she knew, and I knew, the show was just getting started. To really appreciate the beautiful destruction you're about to see, you have to understand the perfect life she was burning to the ground. Our life. Sarah and I met in college. A total movie cliché. I was the struggling engineering student, and she was the star of the business program. We were inseparable. We dreamed up our whole future together long before we had a penny to our names. We got married a couple of years after graduation. Sunny afternoon, garden full of family, everyone telling us we were the perfect couple, the one that would actually make it. For a long time, I believed it. I believed in *us*. I landed a great job at a top engineering firm while she shot up the ladder at a fancy marketing agency downtown. We bought this house, the one packed with people tonight, and spent years making it a home. We hosted barbecues, Thanksgivings, and every single year, a massive New Year's Eve party. It was our thing. Our life looked perfect on the outside. For about 5 years, it felt perfect on the inside, too. Then, things started to change. It was slow at first, you almost wouldn't notice it, like the air getting colder before a storm. It started with her job. She got promoted to senior director, which I was genuinely proud of. But that promotion came with a new boss, a guy named Mark. Mark was charismatic, successful, and single, the whole package. At first, he was just a name. "Mark wants this project done." Mark loved my presentation. Then came the late nights. Once a week, then twice. Soon, it felt like she lived at the office. If I brought it up, she'd get defensive. "This is what it takes to succeed, James," she'd snap. "I thought you supported my career." Of course, I supported her. I was her biggest fan, so I backed off. I made her dinner, had it waiting for her when she'd finally drag herself home after 10. I did more chores, handled the bills, tried to make her life outside work as easy as possible. I was the perfect, supportive husband. I was a fool. The distance between us grew into a canyon. Our conversations became logistics. "Did you get the dry cleaning?" "My parents are coming over Sunday." The intimacy, physical and emotional, just vanished. When I'd try to talk about it, she'd blame stress, deadlines, and Mark's crazy demands. Always Mark. He was the ghost in our marriage, and I hadn't even figured it out yet. Then the ghost started showing up in person. Sarah suggested we invite him to a barbecue. It'd be good for my career, she said. Show him I have a stable, happy home life. So I welcomed him into our home. I shook his hand. I laughed at his stupid jokes. He'd bring an expensive bottle of wine and charm everyone. He looked me right in the eye and told me how lucky I was to have a wife as brilliant as Sarah. The nerve. It still makes my blood run cold. He became a regular. He was at our parties, joined us for dinner sometimes. We'd talk about sports or the stock market. He was playing the part of the friendly boss, and he was damn good at it. All while he was sleeping with my wife. My wife, who'd kiss me goo. By in the morning, and go spend the day with the man she'd be secretly texting all night. The moment the blindfold was finally ripped off came about 6 months before the party. It was a Tuesday. Sarah was, you guessed it, stuck at the office. I was watching TV when I saw her tablet on the coffee table. She guarded her electronics like they held state secrets, but she must have forgotten it. I wasn't planning to snoop, honestly. But a notification lit up the screen, a photo memory from an old vacation. I smiled and picked it up. My thumb swiped the screen and it unlocked. She must have turned the passcode off. And there it was. Not our photos, but her iMessage left open. The last chat was with Mark. As my eyes scanned the screen, the air just left my lungs. It wasn't just flirty texts. It was a detailed log of their affair. They were talking about their lunch meeting from the day before, obviously code for a hotel. There were messages from that morning, with Sarah telling him she couldn't wait to get away from me to see him. But the one that shattered me was from her. He has no idea, she wrote about me. It's almost too easy. 8 years and he's still as clueless as the day I met him. I just sat there, maybe for hours, the screen burning into my eyes. Every late night, every business trip, every excuse, it all crashed together into one horrible truth. My marriage was a lie. The life I'd poured my soul into was a complete sham. First came the rage. I wanted to smash things. I wanted to call her and scream. But then something else hit me, something cold and calculating. She called me clueless, too easy. They were laughing at me in my own home, mocking my trust. A simple shouting match wasn't enough. That would just be messy, private drama. She'd cry, she'd deny, she'd beg for forgiveness. She'd try to control the story. No, that wasn't justice. Justice needed an audience. It needed the total annihilation of the fake world she loved so much. She didn't just betray me. She betrayed everyone who believed in her. So it was only fair they should all be there for the grand finale. And that's when the idea hit me. Our biggest tradition, our biggest party, New Year's Eve, a night for new beginnings. It was perfect. I wasn't just going to asterisk tell everyone what she'd done. I was going to show asterisk them. From that night on, I was living a double life. On the outside, I was the same old James, the loving, clueless husband. I stopped asking about her late nights. I smiled more. I even suggested she take a weekend spa trip with her girlfriends to de-stress. Of course, she took the bait and went on a romantic getaway with Mark. The irony was so thick I could hardly breathe. But I played my part, biding my time and gathering my weapons. The other James, the one inside my head, was a man on a mission. The rage had cooled into a diamond-sharp resolve. My goal was simple, get undeniable, soul-crushing proof. I needed more than texts. I needed a highlight reel of her betrayal. First, I saved the messages. I used a program to quietly back up her entire tablet to a secure cloud drive. I spent a weekend reading through asterisk years of her texts with Mark. The affair didn't start a few months ago. It had been going on for 5 years. 5 years. They had nicknames for me. They made fun of my anniversary gifts. They were planning their future while I was in the next room. I saved every single message. But texts can be faked. I needed visuals, audio. I became a ghost in my own house. I hid a voice-activated recorder in her car, right under the passenger seat. The things I heard them laughing about how I was working overtime to save for a vacation she was planning to get sick for, so she and Mark could go to the same place a week later. I heard them in the backseat of her car in her office parking garage, the car I co-signed for. I cataloged every single audio file. Next, I hired a private investigator, a discreet, expensive pro recommended by a lawyer I'd had a quiet consultation with. I gave the Pie Miller everything I had: Mark's photo, his schedule, her upcoming business trips. Miller was ruthlessly good at his job. Within 2 weeks, I had a file that made me sick to my stomach. There were photos: Sarah and Mark holding hands, kissing against a hotel room window, checking into a boutique hotel for one of her marketing conferences. Miller even got a grainy video from a hotel security camera showing them laughing and wrapped around each other, waiting for an elevator like a couple on their honeymoon. Every new piece of proof was another knife in the gut, but with every twist, my resolve got stronger. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about reclaiming the truth. She had gaslit me for years, making me think I was insecure or crazy. This mountain of evidence was my proof that I wasn't. I was being betrayed on a scale I could barely comprehend. Now I had all the pieces. Spent my evenings, after my supportive husband duties were done, editing it all together. I'm an engineer. I'm meticulous. I taught myself how to use video editing software. I didn't want an angry rant. I wanted a movie. A short, brutal documentary of her lies. I structured it like a story. It started with our wedding photo, all happy and hopeful with soft piano music. Then a record scratch and the first text pops up on screen. He has no idea. I sync the audio of them talking over a slideshow of the Pie's photos. The big finish was the grainy hotel security footage of them, timed perfectly with an audio clip of Sarah telling Mark, "I can't wait to leave him. Just one more year, I promise. I need to make sure I get the house." The last piece was the tech. Our New Year's party was the perfect setup. We had a big smart TV in the living room and 2 smaller ones in the kitchen and on the patio, all synced up. I set up a system to cast a video from my phone to all 3 screens at once with a single button press. I hid the app in a folder named Utilities and practiced until it was muscle memory. The final days before the party were surreal. I was helping Sarah pick out her dress, ordering catering, making a playlist, all upbeat party music that would be the sickeningly cheerful soundtrack to her doom. She was so happy and relaxed, thinking she was on the home stretch. One night, she kissed my cheek and said, "2026 is going to be our year, baby. A year of big changes." I just smiled back. "You have no idea," I said. The stage is set, the evidence is gathered, and the countdown to chaos is about to begin. If your heart is pounding just thinking about it, do us a quick favor and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Karma Chronicles. You're not going to want to miss what happens next. The party was in full swing, vibrating with music and laughter. Right in the middle of it all was Sarah, the queen of the castle, gliding through the crowd. I watched her from across the room, my heart like a stone in my chest. I saw her share a quick, knowing look with Mark, who was leaning against the kitchen counter. It was a tiny glance, but to me, it was as loud as a gunshot. The look of 2 partners in crime, totally clueless that the guillotine was about to drop. It was time. I made my way to the stage, pulling out my phone. My thumb hovered over the Utilities folder. My hands were perfectly still. I took the mic, and as my voice cut through the room, I watched her proud, beaming face. The dramatic irony was so thick it was almost intoxicating. "As we count down to midnight," I said, my voice calm and clear, "it's a time to reflect, and my wife, she's had a very memorable year." The crowd cheered. Mark raised his beer in a smug salute, but Sarah's eyes were locked on mine. That flicker of confusion was back, stronger this time. She could hear the cold edge under my words. The clock behind me hit 60 seconds. A year of incredible dedication, I continued, my voice dripping with meaning. A year of late nights. She's been working on a very big project. And I think it's only fair that after all that hard work, everyone gets to see the results. 50 seconds. Sarah wasn't smiling anymore. Her face was a mask of tense confusion. Mark was now looking at her, his own smirk gone. So instead of the boring ball drop, I announced, I've prepared a little highlight reel of Sarah's incredible year. A look back at all the memories she's made. 30 seconds. I opened the app. My finger was on the cast button. I call it Project New Beginning. The crowd murmured, excited. They thought it was a romantic surprise. The countdown appeared on all the screens. 10. The crowd roared along. I looked at Sarah. Her face was white. 9. She was mouthing my name. James, what is this? *8. Mark was pushing through the crowd toward her, his face a storm of panic. 7. I saw her dad, a good man, smiling at the screen, expecting a tribute to his daughter. 6. I pressed the button. 5. Her eyes widened in horror as our wedding photo flashed onto every screen. 4. The romantic music swelled. The crowd let out a collective awe. 3. The music screeched to a halt. The photo vanished. 2. Total silence, a black screen. Then white letters appeared, huge and undeniable. He has no idea. It's almost too easy. 1. A collective gasp sucked all the air out of the room. The party came to a dead stop. Happy New Year. No cheers, no singing, just the sound of Sarah's voice blasting from the speakers. God, I can't wait to get away from him. The screen changed to a photo of her and Mark holding hands. The reel played on, a relentless 3-minute attack. Texts scrolled across the screen. Photos of them kissing, checking into hotels. Audio of them mocking me. The room was a wax museum of horror. Our friends, our family just stood there, mouths open, eyes darting from the screens to Sarah, to Mark, and back to me. Sarah stood as if she'd been turned to stone, all the color drained from her face. Mark was frozen beside her, looking like a cornered animal. The final scene played, the grainy hotel footage of them wrapped around each other, and over it her voice clear as a bell. Just one more year, I promise. I need to make sure I get the house. The video ended. The screens went black. The silence was absolute. It was broken by a single sob from Sarah's mother. I lowered the mic. My work was done. I looked right at the stranger who was my wife. Her eyes were wide with a terror so pure it was almost beautiful. 5 years, Sarah, I said, my voice cutting through the silence. Happy New Year. And then all hell broke loose. It started with a scream, just a raw animal sound from Sarah's throat that shattered the silence. The party didn't just end, it detonated. Sarah's legs gave out and she stumbled into a table, sending a wave of champagne glasses crashing to the floor. No, 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 she shrieked, looking wildly at the horrified faces around her. It's fake. He faked it all. But it was pathetic. Everyone knew it was real. Mark then made his biggest mistake. He went into full self-preservation mode. I have to go, he stammered, turning to run. That was like throwing gas on a fire. Sarah's dad, a quiet man I'd never seen angry, lunged forward and grabbed Mark by the collar of his expensive shirt. Where do you think you're going? He roared. You came into this house. A few of my friends jumped in and basically shoved Mark out the front door into the cold, a chorus of curses following him out. Meanwhile, Sarah was having a total meltdown on her knees in the broken glass, sobbing that it was all a lie. Her mother was trying to comfort her, but her own face was just a mask of shame. Sarah's friends, her bridesmaids, just stood there, staring at her with a mix of pity and disgust. Nobody rushed to help her. I just stood on the stage, watching my world burn down. I felt strangely distant, like I was watching my own movie. My best friend, Mike, walked up, put a hand on my shoulder and squeezed. He didn't have to say a word. People started leaving in droves. No goodbyes. They just grabbed their coats and fled the toxicity. Each person walking out that door was another nail in the coffin of Sarah's social life. Through it all, I was calm. I stepped down from the stage, walked through the shell-shocked crowd, and went to our bedroom. I had 2 suitcases already packed and hidden. I grabbed them and my laptop. As I walked to the front door, Sarah blocked my path. Her mascara was running in black streaks, her dress was stained, and her eyes were swollen. The queen was well and truly dethroned. "James," she whispered, her voice hoarse, "please don't go, we can fix this." I stopped and really looked at her. For a split second, I felt a pang of something, a ghost of the love I used to have. But then I saw it in her eyes, the same manipulative cunning. She wasn't sorry she did it. She was just sorry she got caught. "Fix this," I said, my voice quiet but firm. "There's nothing to fix, Sarah. You wanted a new beginning. Well, here it is." I stepped around her. The last thing I heard as I opened the front door and walked out into the cold, clean air of the new year was another gut-wrenching sob. I didn't look back. I just closed the door on my old life. I spent that night in a generic hotel room, the silence deafening after the chaos. I didn't feel like a winner. I just felt empty. The revenge I'd spent 6 months planning didn't bring that wave of satisfaction I'd imagined. It was more like a necessary amputation. Painful, but you do it to survive. That hollow feeling people talk about in these stories, it's real. The next morning, I called my lawyer. I told him to proceed. The divorce papers were filed before noon on January 2nd. With a mountain of evidence against her, Sarah had no leverage. Her attempt to get half of everything, including her house, was shut down by her own words on video. The divorce was brutally fast and decisively in my favor. She did not get the house. The professional fallout for both of them was swift and merciless. Someone at the party had, of course, recorded the whole thing on their phone, and a clip went viral in our local circles. Mark was fired. His company couldn't handle the scandal of a senior executive having a long-term affair with a subordinate, ending in such a public mess. Last I heard, he sold his condo and had to move out of state to find a new job. Sarah's fate was the same. Her company suspended her, then let her go. The career she claimed she sacrificed our marriage for was gone. Their relationship, built on lies, couldn't survive the exposure they apparently tried to make it work, but it imploded within a month, poisoned by blame and their mutual ruin. She had to sell her car and move into a small apartment across town. Our friends abandoned her. The betrayal was just too public, too scandalous. Her whole identity was built on the image of a perfect, successful life. When that was shattered, there was nothing left. As for me, things were complicated. My friends rallied around me, which was a lifesaver. But for a while, I was that guy. Some people saw me as a legend of karmic justice. Others thought I was cruel. I learned to live with both. I sold the house. Too many ghosts. I took a new job in a different city for a true, fresh start, a place where I wasn't the main character in a viral video. It took a long, long time to even think about trusting anyone again. But slowly, I started to heal. I focused on my work, got back into old hobbies, and learned to be okay on my own. Looking back, do I regret it? No, I regret that it had to happen. I regret the years I lost to a lie, but I don't regret exposing the truth. Her deceit was a quiet poison that was slowly killing me. My highlight reel was the antidote. It was a controlled demolition, the only way to clear the rubble and build something new. My new beginning didn't start with a kiss at midnight. It started with a fire, and from those ashes, I was finally free. So that's my story. It's about betrayal, sure, but it's also about taking back control of the narrative. Now I've got to ask you, what do you think? Was the public demolition justified, or did I go too far? Is all fair in love and war? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. And if you believe justice was served, show your support by liking this video and subscribing to Karma Chronicles for more stories of karma delivered. Thanks for listening. It's a good reminder that the truth, no matter how ugly, usually finds a way out. And sometimes, a new year really does mean you have to burn the old one to the ground. Stay safe out there.